Hi there. Today I'm going to talk about and record a performance of Etude number 20 from Simandl's 30 Etudes for the Double Bass. This one shows up from time to time as a senior high all-state audition piece for the state of Georgia. I bet it shows up a few other places like that as well, and it's a very nice piece of music in addition to that. There's just a couple of things. I'm not going to give much in the way of commentary on this before cutting over to a performance of it. But there are a couple of things that I frequently have to spend some extra time with my students in getting ready for. First one has to do with tempos. It is marked eighth note equals 132, which if you do the math on that, that comes down to a dotted quarter note is 44 beats per minute. And that's usually where you want to set your reference, because when you get the change to 3/4 and quarter note equals dotted quarter note, if you set your metronome at 44, then you have a consistent beat through the two parts. Personally, I never play it at 44. I think it's just too slow and I have trouble making music out of it. So I usually play it a little bit faster than that. But you don't want to let it get so fast that the 16th notes in the 3/4 give you any kind of trouble. If you feel like you want to bump up the tempo a little bit to make it more musical, then I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But know that you have permission to play this as slow as you need to, because if you actually set that metronome on 44, this thing is pretty slow. So you have permission to go as slow as you need to get through those 16th note passages in the 3/4 sections. The thing that always happens is in the 3/4 sections, the rests are never held for long enough. Make sure that you're doing something physical to get through those rests. So for instance, in the first 3/4 section, 2, 1 E and no 2 and 3 4 1. That's just at 3 and. But say that to yourself. What I do is I usually click the back of my tongue. I don't know if you can hear that, but I do a very soft click of the back of my tongue. So I'll get in there, click, click. Do 2 clicks on the back of my tongue, and that'll take me through that rest. But do something physical so that you're really marking the time on all of those rests. They are very frequently, well, I won't say they're always cut short, because it's kind of random. Some of my students will cut them short, some of my students will hold them too long. You've got to make sure that you are really counting, doing something. Tapping your toe inside your shoe. You don't want to make any noise, but tap your toe inside your shoe, softly click your tongue inside your mouth so that you come out on those rests. Let's see, the other thing that a lot of people have trouble with is, they say at the end of the first 6/8 section or in the middle of the first 6/8 section where you have the dotted quarter note A tied to it, slurred to a high A, or the D slurred to a high D. And what happens is you get this, and you run out of bow. Very important that you get this, and the second note is really soft because you're starting to run out of bow. So for instance, coming into those A's, if you can see what I did with my bow to keep the sound strong all the way through that second A, starting here, moving in towards the bridge, and crossing over. If I move in towards the bridge, I can slow my bow down and still get a powerful sound. So watch that one more time. I have all the bow I need to keep both of those A's really powerful as long as I move into the bridge. Same thing with the D octaves when you get them. The other spot there's a lot of trouble with is in the first 3/4 section where it goes up to the high A. Here. I think the key to reaching that A is to bring the thumb around. What a lot of kids will do is they'll just reach for it kind of like this, and that's really random, and the thumb holds them back. So if you actually come up into a thumb position, bring the thumb around, 3 and 1 can hit that a lot easier. I bring the thumb around, then I bring it back as I come back down the scale. To practice that, just get a lot of repetitions on that last little F7 arpeggio. Practice landing that A. Be really careful about what you do with the thumb. I think for me that's, one other spot that a lot of people have trouble with, and this is the last one, then we'll cut over to a performance, is the ritardando before you go on to the next page. That last ritardando before going to the final 6/8 section. This is what I hear from students all the time. And they do a sudden tempo change instead of making it a smooth slowdown, or you'll get just on those last few notes, and it gets a little choked off and it slows down suddenly and it's not smooth. Be very careful that however much you slow down, could be a little bit, could be a lot, that's up to you, but you want to make sure that that slowdown is gradual and smooth, that there's not a I'm one speed and then suddenly I'm another speed. You want to make sure that there's a taper as you go between the tempos. So that's another spot to be careful of. Anyway, that's it for commentary. I'm going to go ahead and cut over to a performance of this. If you have found this helpful, then please do me a favor. Like the video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot.